Hey, this is Dr. Emil Tompkins, and I want to welcome you to episode number 28, which is 22 tricks to eating healthy while eating out.
You are listening to the Beyond the Pain podcast, where Dr. Emil Tompkins and his guests guide you through the latest techniques to relieve your pain and learn how to fuel, move, and think for lifetime wellness.
Hey guys, I want to thank you for joining us today for episode number 28. And this is all part of our nutrition series where we're going over ways to eat healthy and to change your health by using food. Now, let's go ahead and get started. I hate the Cheesecake Factory, not because I don't like the food, the cheesecake, the atmosphere. Those things are all actually really good, but I don't like any visit to the Cheesecake Factory because it appears that I have absolutely no willpower. Every visit to the Cheesecake Factory ends the same way, with Linda's fudge cake. Now, in case you didn't know what Linda's fudge cake is, it is a 7-layer super duper chocolatey experience. Yes, tasty, but dangerous. Dangerous because I know how I'm going to feel that night. Dangerous because I know about the issues I have with sugar and wheat and that I don't tend to listen to my gut, literally my gut. It is a problem. Now, it's not Cheesecake Factory's fault. They're just working to provide food that people will want to eat over and over again. And yes, it works. At least it works on me. Other restaurants will follow suit and offer us things like a milkshake that has a slice of apple pie blended in, or country fried steak served with pancakes, potatoes, gravy, and syrup. Oh my goodness, nearly a day's worth of calories in one meal. Thanks, IHOP. A massive portion of macaroni and cheese that has 2 days worth of sodium. A slice of chocolate cake that weighs nearly a pound and takes 26 teaspoons of added sugar. It sounds frightening, but that actually sounds about like Linda's fudge cake, and this list goes on and on. But it's super important that we take certain steps to ensure that you don't make the same steps, the same problems that I used to have. So here are 22 tips to eat healthier in your favorite restaurant. So let's go ahead and give it a shot here. Number 1, check the menu online. Most, if not all, popular restaurants now post their menus online. So take a quick peek, see what they have to offer before you decide which restaurant is right for today's meal. This has 2 benefits. 1, you can see if there are any healthy options, so you can pre-plan your meal to avoid temptation. And if there's a lot of, fried foods or something like that, just move on to the next restaurant. But don't just assume a delicious sounding salad is a sure win. Even those can be loaded with more sugar than you'd ever expect. Also, you can choose restaurants with a low carb or low calorie menu. And I'm not necessarily recommending something that's low calorie, but a lot of those foods that are on that low calorie list, that there is attention paid to how healthy they are. So you're going to have healthier options. Low carb or low calorie isn't necessarily important, but just look at that healthier menu and it'll give you a better idea of if this is something that will work for you. Number 3, get a table that's far away from the kitchen. It's one thing to read about calorie-laden entrees in the menu, but it's another to see them in all their plated glory. Sitting at a table by the kitchen gives you a perfect view of every dish as they're served to the table. This is a temptation that you just don't want, especially if you're already really hungry. Tip number 4, find the nearest mirror. Believe it or not, eating in restaurants that are lined with mirrors will actually make you want to eat less. Researchers at the University of Central Florida recently observed 185 students either eating fruit salad or a piece of chocolate cake. Some were placed in a room with a mirror, some ate in a mirrorless room, and the subjects who ate chocolate cake in the mirror-lined room actually said the cake didn't taste very good, while those in the non-mirrored room didn't have any complaints. The reason? Researchers believe that looking in a mirror makes people judge themselves a little more harshly because they're able to watch themselves eat. Go ahead, hang a mirror in your own dining room. It's incredible findings like these that show there are practical ways that you can apply for yourself to be able to eat healthy and to, over time, be able to lose weight. And number 5, start with a salad. Loading up on healthy fiber at the beginning of a meal sets the tone for the rest of the experience. A study by researchers at the University of Pennsylvania found that volunteers who ate a large vegetable salad before their main dish ate fewer calories than those who didn't. Just make sure you keep it simple by foregoing the creamy salad dressings for simple things like the oil and vinegar, and skip the cheese and croutons too. You'll be in much better shape, avoiding the gluten and the extra processed carbs that we don't really need. Pick a meal that's very vegetable heavy. Half plate rule is a very, very good idea. You want half of your plate to have vegetables, at least half of your plate to have vegetables. Number 6, beware of gluten-free. The term gluten-free has been thrown around all over the place. It kind of has this health halo around it. Many people think that just because it's gluten-free, it means it's healthy. Gluten-free does not mean that it's healthy. It only means that food doesn't have gluten. So it may be really horribly unhealthy. So be careful of that. Sometimes gluten-free options have even more calories because the recipe is going to require extra ingredients to make up for the fact that there's no gluten in it. Also, if the food is completely full of grains, even if it's gluten-free grains, they are going to have a negative impact on your health. So you want to be careful of that. Number 7, double up on appetizers instead of a main dish. Many times restaurants offer a seafood or vegetable-based options on the appetizer menu that can serve as a healthy option. Order a portion or two and eat it as your main meal. Just make sure you stay away from some of the breaded versions to keep it from becoming the super calorie bomb. Look at doubling up on appetizers. Sometimes we get an appetizer and then we get a meal and we find that we're way too full, but we eat it anyway because it's there. Being a little wiser in what we choose can make a really huge difference. Now, before we go any further, I want to let you know that we have a freebie that's available for anyone that's listening to this podcast. It's one of our cheat sheets, and this one for this week is going to be 10 questions, 10 most important questions that you can ask at your favorite restaurants. Again, as you're eating at some of these different places, you want to make sure that you're making good choices, asking really good questions. And so that's something to consider. Number 8. Now, you may be asking, why is a chiropractor who obviously has some food challenges writing articles, sitting podcasts about healthy eating? It's because, like you, I realize I need to do better. I understand that if I'm going to live long and healthy, if I'm going to be active enough to play with my kids for as long as they want to play with their father, then I have to take care of myself. If I'm going to be practicing what I preach, it's one thing to know what to do and how to be healthy, but how good of an example am I going to be to the people who are listening to this podcast, to the people who are making changes in their life if I'm not doing it myself? We take care of people who are dealing with pain and discomfort and issues with their health throughout their lives. And this is one of the things that you can do, getting in control of your diet, if you're going to make a positive impact on your health and how you're feeling. And I just want you to be successful with that. And that's why we do that. I realize that it's something that I have to do for myself. And it's why I also want to make sure that I offer it to you, because each of us has our own unique struggles. You right now have a unique struggle, a unique challenge. I'm sure when it comes to food, it's different than mine. And we each have our own challenges in being healthy. And for you, I want you to have better health. So let's go ahead and move forward. Number 9. Ask for triple the veggies. Vegetables are an afterthought on many restaurant entrees. So ask your server to add extra portions of vegetables, either in place of some of the less healthy sides or in addition. Now, you may get a small upcharge, but many times they're happy to swap it out without costing more. Either way, if you're fueling your body with something better, it's probably worth the extra. Now, number 10, what do soda and alcoholic drinks have in common? They're both bad for your health and your waistline. The sugar in the soda, if you do something that is sugar-free, like a calorie option, the aspartame in the soda has negative consequences on your health. And it actually is shown, every research on diet drinks and sugar-free drinks show that people don't lose weight when they have them. You want to avoid them altogether. Empty calories is what you're going to get. No nutrition, but extra calories. You will be less healthy. You can add hundreds or sometimes even thousands of extra calories with some of these sugary margaritas and pina coladas. Yeah, drop those. Instead, if you really need something that is alcohol, grab a glass of red wine. That's something that will provide less calories, less negative impact on your health than some of the other choices that are out there. Now, number 11, look for key healthy terms. What do the words grilled, broiled, or baked have in common? They're all words that indicate that the food was cooked in some of the healthiest ways possible. Of course, there's always a chance a restaurant could, pile on the butter or the sauces in the preparation process, but you're still in a lot better shape, and you can request that they leave those things off. Number 12, ask for it your way. Dining out is not the time to be a meek consumer. You need to be assertive by asking for changes on the menu. If an item is fried, you can ask for it grilled. If it comes with fries, you can ask for a side of veggies. You can ask for a smaller portion of meat and a larger portion of the salad. So many things that you can do. Number 13, ask how the food was prepared and don't just necessarily go by the menu. For instance, cholesterol-free doesn't mean fat-free. The dish could still be filled with calorie-dense oil, and light doesn't necessarily mean light in calories. Number 14, seafood is almost always a good choice as long as it's not fried or sauteed. It's in one of our lists of worse foods when in our fried fish, but in general, seafood options are usually some of the best. Number 15, a side of fruit can add a little sweetness to your meal without adding a lot of extra calories. Many restaurants offer a mixed fruit side, but if you choose, you can go for superfoods like raspberries, blueberries, blackberries, and strawberries. They're chock full of antioxidants and vitamins without a lot of sugar. Number 16, skip the bread basket. Ask the waiter to, skip the bread basket. If you've got to have something to munch on while you wait for your order, ask for a plate of raw vegetables or some breadsticks. Number 17, always dress up to go out. And this is a hard one because here in Southern Arizona, we don't dress up to go anywhere. However, it has been shown that if you view eating out as an event or a treat rather than a way to get an everyday dinner, you won't eat out as often, but you'll also be a lot more aware of what you're eating and what you're putting into your body. Number 18, drink water throughout the meal. It'll slow you down. It'll help you enjoy the food more and let the message get to the brain that you're full before your plate is empty. So far, we have, we have 18 tips for eating healthy when you're eating out. And there are also some reasons why you might want to avoid eating out in the first place, because once you know what's in restaurant food, you may want to think twice about eating out. All right, number 19, if you eat food at nearly every fast food chain, except maybe Chipotle and a few other restaurants that are committed to sustainable organic suppliers, even most sit-down restaurants, means that you're likely consuming feedlot animal meat, flesh that comes from animals raised in crowded, unsanitary conditions, fed massive doses of antibiotics, unnatural Frankenfeed full of genetically modified crops, and some other truly disturbing ingredients. You almost just want to avoid it altogether. If you're out with someone and you decide you need to order something, order first so you're not influenced by your companion's choices. Avoid entrees described as crispy, breaded, fried, or smothered. 22, ask your server to put half of your order in a to-go box to keep you from eating too much. And 23, split the entire thing with a friend. Oh, I think I got out of order there, but that's okay. So now you have 23 ways to eat healthier at restaurants. So you don't have to fear when you're eating out. You have strategies. You have strategies. You have things that you want to do. And as I was mentioning a couple of moments before, you may even want to consider not eating out when you know how all these things are being prepared. So restaurants get their food primarily from CAFOs, concentrated animal feeding operations. You put lots of animals in one area because it's not healthy for them. They get sick, but they're injected with incredibly high amounts of antibiotics so they don't die of all the bacteria and disease that's in the facility. They're also injected with lots of growth hormone, so they provide lots of meat per animal. These things increase yield, but they're potentially dangerous additive to the foods that we eat. So here are a couple of disturbing things in the animal feed in some of these operations. So these animals that we're eating are consuming things like plastics, meat from the same species, gross, cannibalism. But the problem with that is when one species eats meat from the same species, it starts to change them structurally, and it can change them genetically in a way that's just not healthy. You don't do that. Manure, arsenic, animal byproducts. It's normal, unfortunately, that our food is chemical laden and full of absolute garbage these days. And these chemicals are toxic in higher doses. It's been shown that fast food eaten only 2 times a week can cause a 10-pound increase in weight over time. So just something to think about. After all that, you may not want to eat out at all. But if you still do, you have some tips, some things that you can do to make sure that you're making healthy choices. And I invite you to check out our freebie, which is 10 questions to ask when at a restaurant. So you have those 10 questions. When you go, you'll know what to ask so that you're making good decisions while you're at restaurants. And this is important. This is a subject that many people were asking us to talk about. And so I wanted to make sure that we got to go over this. We go through our day and we want to live in a way that's healthy, but sometimes we struggle knowing what to do, or we struggle actually making those choices to do it. So the key is, one, not just knowing what to do, but actually putting that into practice, actually applying that to your day and to your life. And I invite you to be able to take that step to be able to do that. So I thank you for joining us here today for our Beyond Pain Relief podcast, learning about nutrition and how eating out can actually be healthy. And I wish that for you a really fantastic and healthy day. Guys, I'm Dr. Emil Tompkins. Hope you have a great day. If you like this podcast, if you think this information is valuable, go ahead and leave us a positive review. If you have the latest update on your iPhone, if you're in iTunes listening, then you can just leave us a positive review right there on the show page. There's lots of different ways to do that. You can share this podcast with others if you feel you know someone else that can benefit from this, and I invite you to do that. Make a difference in the life and health of someone around you. If we're all working together to make a difference, even a small difference, great things can happen, and I wish that for you. Hey guys, I'm Dr. Emil Tompkins. I hope you have a fantastic day, and we'll see you soon. Hey guys, it's Dr. Emil Tompkins. Many people fail to make a change in their health until things are drastic, until we've gone so far that it's so challenging to make that change, or we feel like it's almost too late, and then we're much more reluctant to make those changes in our health. This is a problem, and it needs to change. It needs to stop. When you find something that has an opportunity to make a difference in your health or in the health of someone around you, I invite you to take that opportunity to make that change for yourself or for someone you know. So I have a favor to ask of you. If you've listened to this podcast and you feel like there's something here that you think will benefit someone that you know, I invite you to share that podcast with them. There's a share link on the bottom of the screen. I want you to click that share button to share this with others. Give others the opportunity to experience the Beyond Pain Relief podcast. Share that with others. Make a difference in the health of someone around you. And I thank you so much for doing that. This is Dr. Emil Tompkins. Thank you for joining us on the Beyond Pain Relief podcast. And thank you for making a difference in the lives of the people around you. Have a great day.
You are listening to the Beyond the Pain podcast, where Dr. Emil Tompkins and his guests guide you through the latest techniques to relieve your pain and learn how to fuel, move, and think for lifetime wellness.